3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
We're in Brown. People wanted Brown. I think we gave it to them. Now we got to start winning baseball games.
Does this change your opinion about Houston?
Of course it does, and I don't believe Jeff either. I don't think he's telling the truth there. I mean, it's just my opinion. I have no evidence that he isn't, but I don't believe him. How could the GM not know? Come on.
And now John Boy Media has been at the center of this investigation.
Tipping signs is one thing. Installing technology to steal it is a different level.
Actually, there are 4 teams involved in deals tonight, and the Dodgers are right in the middle of all of it. They are getting Mookie Betts and David Price and a significant amount of cash from the Red Sox.
I referred to the World Series trophy in a disrespectful way, and I want to apologize for that. There's no excuse for it. I made a mistake. I was trying to make a point, but I should have made it in a more effective way. And again, I want to apologize for it.
You know, it's just like I said, it's a lot of guys lost respect for some of the guys, and you know, it seems like every day something new comes out.
This offseason was one for the ages. So many events occurred that I wouldn't remember without making this video. I'm not going through every single event or transaction of the offseason. Instead, I will go through all of the events I feel are notable. All the exciting events. We wanted some excitement after the terrible offseason in 2018. I still get nightmares thinking about John Heyman's tweets. I'll be covering every notable trade and signing, the Astros scandal, and everything in between. If I missed something you feel was significant, let me know in the comments and I'll probably keep a pinned post with events that I missed. Strap yourselves in, this is going to be a long video. October 31st, 2019, the day after Game 7 of the World Series, so I'll call this the beginning of the offseason. The first week of November, many teams and players made their free agency decisions. Some opted in and some opted out. Notable names include Corey Kluber, Anthony Rendon, Mike Moustakas, Yasmani Grandal, Steven Strasburg, and many others that would take forever to name. Though Aroldis Chapman did agree to an extension with the Yankees during this period. The Gold Glove winners were also released. Pause this video if you want to see the full list. Carlos Beltran was hired as the Mets manager. November 10th. In my opinion, one of the most important moments of the offseason. The San Diego Padres unveiled their new uniforms. Personally, this one is my favorite. Let me know if you have a favorite. On the same day, a mini scandal met its conclusion. Braves GM Alex Anthopoulos made a statement in a conference basically saying that he has been in contact with every team to discuss potential trades and what they might do in free agency. The union head of the Players Association, Tony Clark, felt that this statement was in violation with the integrity of the free agent market. Anthopoulos would make a follow-up statement, basically saying that he misspoke as the Braves did not ask any other team's intentions on signing individual free agents. Personally, I felt this was a non-story, but because of the amount of events that occurred this offseason, I didn't remember this ever happening. I wonder why. November 12th, 2019, one of the biggest days in baseball history. Yes, Yordan Alvarez and Pete Alonso won Rookie of the Year awards in their respective leagues, but that's not why this day was historic. On this day, Ken Rosenthal and Evan Drellick of The Athletic released an article that set up everything about this offseason. They revealed that the Astros stole signs electronically in 2017. Former Astros pitcher Mike Fiers, along with other unnamed sources, said that the Astros were advanced and willing to go above and beyond to win. Later that day, a portion of the article was illustrated by John Boy in a video called Astros Using Cameras to Steal Signs, a breakdown. He showed a sequence where Danny Farquhar faced off against Evan Gattis. After the catcher would lay down a sign, you can clearly hear a banging sound to indicate the type of pitch to Gattis. This day shaped how we would view baseball. John Boy became the online face of the scandal, and the fans would end up learning so much more in the following months. Mid-November. I'll call this section mid-November because there are too many dates to list. Anyway, here are the rest of the award winners. You got them? Alright, cool. November 16. An email came out that was sent by Kevin Goldstein, a special assistant to Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow. This is what he wrote in the email. One thing in specific we are looking for is picking up signs coming out of the dugout. What we are looking for is how much we can see. how we would log things, if we need cameras, binoculars, etc. So go to a game, see what you can or can't do, and report back your findings. At this point, we still had no idea how deep this scandal would go. November 18th, back on a happier note, the Milwaukee Brewers came out with some new branding. I have to say, it's pretty nice. But of course, the MLB front office has to ruin our happy moment because of this. It came out that the MLB was looking to end affiliations with 42 of their 160 minor league teams. MLB says the goal of its proposal is to overhaul player development and improve work conditions in the lower level minor leagues. Minor league teams counter that the loss of MLB affiliation would essentially be a gut punch to their ability to market themselves and attract fans. I'll let you guys be the judge. November 19th. Rob Manfred comes out and says punishments could be severe for the Astros after the MLB's investigation. November 21st, the first big free agent signing. Yasmani Grandal signs with the White Sox for 4 years and $73 million. Will Smith actually signed a 3-year $40 million deal a week prior, but I'm gonna call this the first big free agent signing. November 27th, finally wrapping up November. The Padres and Brewers made one of the more interesting trades of the offseason. The Padres sent former top prospect Luis Urias and Eric Lauer for Trent Grisham and Zach Davies. The Padres also signed Drew Pomeranz to one of the larger contracts of the offseason. December 4th, the Los Angeles Angels reached a deal with the city of Anaheim to remain in the city until 2050. On this same day, the Atlanta Braves signed Cole Hamels to a 1-year deal worth $18 million. December 5th, the Cincinnati Reds signed Mike Moustakas to a 4-year deal worth $64 million. Then on the next day, the Rays traded Tommy Pham along with a prospect to the San Diego Padres for Hunter Renfroe and top 100 prospect,
slapdick prospect,
Xavier Edwards, and a player to be named later. And that player still hasn't been named, at least with what I can find. December 9th, to everyone's surprise, some top free agents signed before the year even ended. Zach Wheeler reportedly signed with the Phillies a few days prior, but he would officially sign on the 9th, receiving a 5-year, $118 million contract. My prediction was close to being correct. Despite all of this money being thrown out, he wasn't even the biggest signing of the day. Steven Strasburg re-signed with the Washington Nationals on a 7-year deal worth $245 million. This was only the second day of the winter meetings. December 11th, the Yankees reportedly landed Garrett Cole on a 9-year deal worth $324 million. He wouldn't officially sign for another week, but this made Garrett Cole the highest paid pitcher in MLB history, just something a strikeout king does. Also on the same day, the MLB released a report saying decreases in air resistance spurred by inconsistent seam height on the baseball, as well as changes in player behavior that produced different launch angles and exit velocities, led to the dramatic increase in home runs during the 2019 season. I just happened to predict this in a video that was made months before this. At this point, I think I'm just using this video as a way to plug my other videos. And one final story from the day, all 30 teams pledged that they would add extended netting by the start of the 2020 season, which is great to hear. In the middle of the night on December 12th, the Angels, clearly angry after losing out on Garrett Cole, signed Anthony Rendon to a 7-year deal worth $245 million. Not a bad consolation prize. December 15th, the Cleveland Indians traded Corey Kluber to the Texas Rangers, giving them one of the more interesting rotations in the league. Kluber wasn't the only top pitcher to find a new home on this day. Madison Bumgarner signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks on a 5-year deal worth $85 million. December 20th, 4-time All-Star Ian Kinsler decided to hang up the cleats and retire from baseball, just one hit from reaching 2,000 career hits. December 21st, Dallas Keuchel signs with the Chicago White Sox for 3 years and $55.5 million. December 22nd, Hyunjin Ryu signs with the Toronto Blue Jays on a 4-year deal worth $80 million, officially signing about a week later. And we have finally reached the end of December, and I didn't even cover everything. There were many other signings in the 7 to 8 figure range. So while in the middle of editing this, I decided to make the second half of this video slightly different than the first half. So the timelines of January and February will be illustrated a little bit differently. Because I will probably make another timeline video in the future, I would love to hear your guys' opinions. Which half do you prefer, the first or second half of the video? Alright, that's the end of that. Let's look at the January timeline. January 2nd, 2020. The first notable story of the year. The White Sox take a gamble with star prospect Luis Robert by giving him a 6-year, $50 million contract, buying out all of his years of control, which is pretty smart as the League and Players Association are working on a new CBA that will definitely address team control on young players. January 6th, the Cincinnati Reds signed the most coveted international free agent of the offseason, Shogo Akiyama, to a 3-year, $21 million contract. January 7th, this was an interesting day for baseball. The Astros' punishment was said to be coming out soon. However, another team would end up being involved in their own scandal. The Boston Red Sox had been using the replay room during games in their 2018 championship season to relay signs to the dugout, and ultimately to the batters. Alex Cora was now in the spotlight, as he was the Red Sox manager in 2018 and the bench coach for the Astros in 2017. January 9th, Tim Tebow was given a spring training invite by the New York Mets. Well, I thought it was important. Alright, I'll say something that's actually important. The Rays made another trade. This time they traded top prospect Matthew Liberatore to the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's what the deal actually looks like. Pause the video if you want to look it over. Mid-January, now we have reached arbitration, or at least the period where teams try to avoid arbitration. There are many deals across many days, so here are some of the notable ones. Mookie Betts receiving a record $27 million, Francisco Lindor receiving $17.5 million, Chris Bryant receiving $18.6 million, and so many others. January 13th, 2020, a historic day for the sport of baseball. Commissioner Rob Manfred handed out punishments to the Houston Astros. The organization was issued a $5 million fine along with the losses of their first and second round picks in 2020 and 2021. Additionally, GM Jeff Luhnow and manager AJ Hinch were given year-long suspensions. As a result, they were fired by the organization. Let's just say their reception wasn't necessarily the most positive. The fallout was immediate as Red Sox manager Alex Cora was fired the next day. We're still experiencing the fallout and it won't end anytime soon. January 14th, players begin to vent their frustrations in regards to the Astros. CC Sabathia comes out and says that the Yankees were cheated out of a title in 2017. January 15, Josh Donaldson signs a 4-year, $92 million contract with the Minnesota Twins. Yes, the big contracts are not over yet. Alex Cora also admitted to playing a central role in the Astros sign-stealing process. January 16, this was a wild day, so I'll start with something nice. The Giants hired Alyssa Nakin, making her the first female coach in MLB history. And now we're back to the scandal. Xander Bogaerts came out and said that the Red Sox title in 2018 is not tainted. I'll let you guys make up your own mind on that. Carlos Beltran and the Mets agreed to part ways because of his role in the Astros scandal, before he even managed a game for the Mets. The MLB came out and said that they found no evidence of the Astros using wearable devices in their investigation. And to top off this day, a Twitter user that claimed to be Carlos Beltran's niece said that Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman wore buzzers during their games. This prompted the baseball community to look at this clip where Altuve is avoiding his teammates' attempts to rip off his jersey. In the end, the person in control of the account was not related to the Beltran family, but then rumors spread that this could be a player's burner account. Just super crazy stuff. January 18, at the Astros annual Winter Festival, Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman answered questions from the media. Altuve said that the Astros would be fine and that they would make the World Series again. Bregman had other ideas.
Do you regret anything that happened in 2017?
You know, the commissioner came out with a report. MLB did their report. Like I said, the commissioner made his report. And the Astros made their decision as well.
January 20th through the 22nd. This was a 3-day span where some interesting stories came out. Let's get the normal offseason stuff out of the way first. The Hall of Fame results came out as Derek Jeter and Larry Walker became Hall of Famers, much to the joy of foolish baseball and the online baseball community. Marcell Ozuna signed a 1-year, $18 million deal with the Braves. The Mets named Luis Rojas as their new manager. Nolan Arenado said that he has dealt with a lot of disrespect from numerous people in the Rockies organization. And finally, the Los Angeles City Council unanimously passed a resolution urging the MLB to strip the Astros and Red Sox of their titles and award them to the Dodgers. This caused Rob Manfred to come out and say that the league would not be stripping either team of their titles. For the last week of January, I'm going to bundle up a bunch of stories that happened. Trevor Story and the Rockies agreed on a 2-year, $27.5 million deal. Nick Castellanos signed a 4-year, $64 million deal with the Reds. The Pirates traded Starling Marte to the Diamondbacks for 2 prospects. The Astros signed Dusty Baker as their manager. Chris Bryant lost his grievance against the Cubs as he sought an extra year of service time due to the Cubs using service time manipulation during Bryant's rookie season, a decision that took 4 years to decide. Curtis Granderson retired from baseball after a 16-year career. And finally, Clayton Kershaw came out and said that he is still waiting for an apology from the Astros. We have finally made it to February. If you have made it this far, you're amazing. Let's finish this timeline. February 3rd, former Rays executive James Click becomes the general manager of the Astros. February 4th, the biggest trade of the offseason, a 3-way trade between the Dodgers, Red Sox, and Twins, where the Dodgers land Mookie Betts. Here's what the full trade looked like. The Dodgers would then send Jock Peterson to the Angels and would later add Ross Stripling to the deal. February 5th, Pete Rose asks Rob Manfred to reinstate him as he points to the events that have taken place during the Astros scandal. The Mookie Betts deal ends up being held up because Twins prospect Brusdar Graterol, who is being sent to the Red Sox in the deal, has complications in his medical records that make the Red Sox wary. In the meantime, Max Muncy signed a 3-year deal with the Dodgers worth $26 million. February 6th, the proposed sale of the New York Mets to Stephen Cohen has broken down. February 7th through 8th. Many Astros-related events happened on these days. First, I'll mention another trade between the Rays and Padres. The Rays traded reliever Emilio Pagan to the Padres for Manuel Margot and a prospect. AJ Hinch would then take part in an interview on MLB TV. He took responsibility for the cheating scandal occurring under his managerial tenure. Former Astros pitcher Charlie Morton came out and stated how he regretted not stepping in to try and stop the cheating. This wasn't even the biggest event between these days. The Wall Street Journal released an article detailing the origins of the Astros scandal. The Houston Astros front office laid the groundwork for the team's electronic sign stealing ploys via a program dubbed Codebreaker that was introduced by an intern in the organization in September 2016. This program was used to log and decode catchers' signs throughout the seasons. February 9th. The Twins and Dodgers work out a separate deal that sends Kenta Maeda to the Twins and Brusdar Graterol to the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Red Sox would then work out a deal that would finally send Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. As a result, the previous trade between the Dodgers and Angels involving Jock Peterson would no longer occur. Mid-February. During this period, arbitration hearings occurred. I'm not going to mention individual deals, just know that arbitration has occurred. February 11th. Now we are on to the rule changes. The 3-batter rule has officially been implemented. Also, the MLB is mulling over the potential of making significant changes to the playoff structure, including an idea where the division winners get to choose their first-round opponents. Marwin Gonzalez expressed regret for his involvement with the Astros sign-stealing scandal. And finally, Ron Renicky becomes manager of the Red Sox, after Alex Cora was fired the month prior. February 13th. The Astros formally apologized for their actions. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, and owner Jim Crane all took part in this event. Let's just say it didn't go so well. February 14th. The MLB raises the minimum salary for minor leaguers, beginning in 2021. Here's what the salary increases look like. Pause the video if you want to look it over. Mid to late February. Days after the Astros formally apologized, many players around the league, including Astros players, got into a heated battle of words. It started with Cody Bellinger saying that Jose Altuve stole the 2017 AL MVP from Aaron Judge. Then Trevor Bauer came in and said that the Astros are cheaters and hypocrites. Carlos Correa defended his teammate Altuve and said that the Astros won the World Series fair and square, saying that the other players around the league are not informed about the situation. And if the situation couldn't get any worse, Rob Manfred came in to defend the Astros' punishment. In response to fans saying that the Astros title should be stripped, Manfred said, "The idea of an asterisk or asking for a piece of metal back seems like a futile act." Yep, he called the championship that teams spend years competing for the ultimate prize in the sport of baseball, a piece of metal. I don't think this could have gotten any worse. Aaron Judge let his thoughts out, saying that the Astros cheated and didn't earn their title. The best player in the league, Mike Trout, believed that the punishments were not enough. According to Trout, because the scheme was player-driven, the players need to be reprimanded as well. It has gotten so bad that even LeBron James had some thoughts about this whole thing, specifically with how Manfred has handled this situation. He basically said that if he had found out that he had been cheated out of a title, he would have the right to be irate. Rob Manfred would eventually apologize for his comments on the World Series trophy. And that's everything. That's the whole offseason. Well, like I said before, I probably missed something important, and if I did, please let me know in the comments. I guarantee when I post this video, something big is probably going to happen. But yeah, this is the craziest offseason I have ever witnessed, and we will probably ever witness for a while. Well, hopefully. This is the most ambitious video that I have made so far, so if you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like button, and subscribe if you want to stick around. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching.